welcome back, guys. Another one of my car reviews. So, last time we talked about the Ferrari. This time, all right, so me and Vanita are doing well. It's December. It's disgusting in New Jersey, in New York. It's gross. Backtrack a little bit. When Vanita and I first started talking, I told her about the fact that the new Porsche Panamera training was supposed to be somewhere in California because Porsche has this new experience center, so they wanted to show that off and they wanted to bring everyone out onto the West Coast. So we had this idea that would be maybe the first time we met, but obviously that didn't happen. We met and things were going great. So for this training, I was like, okay, why don't I fly into LAX and pretty much I come see you and then we take an Uber to the hotel that the training is supposed to be at. So this way I just, because I guess Porsche wanted us to get transportation from LAX to the training center / hotel, or we could, I guess, there may have been some transportation, but I forget what it is. But pretty much we decide to go do the training together. So she's just gonna chill at the hotel, go to the spa, I'm gonna do training. After that, I took another couple of days off from work because it was towards the end of the year, and I was like, oh, let's just go down to like San Diego. We'll go down to San Diego area. One of my former colleagues loved La Jolla, would always talk about La Jolla. Unfortunately, it's a sad story, but during 9/11, because of the tragedy and the terrorist events, he was in La Jolla, got stuck there for a week, and loves La Jolla. And so he kept telling me that I gotta go to La Jolla, So I was like, all right, I'll go to La Jolla. So we're in Huntington Beach for training. Everything is cool. I'm like, let's rent a car. What are we gonna do? We go to Turo. Turo is great. Turo allows us to choose something. So since we were driving from LA to San Diego, it's a 2.5-hour drive. It's really not that far. It's just there's a lot of traffic, and it is what it is, right? So I was like, all right, let's just rent an SUV of some kind. I was looking at some type of Japanese SUV and maybe an American SUV, and then all of a sudden I saw a 2012 Cayenne S. Check it out in this picture. Saw it, it was great. It had adaptive cruise control. Now, as a Porsche brand ambassador, which I am, as a Porsche enthusiast, as I am, I was like, oh, okay, I've never had a car with adaptive cruise control. Adaptive cruise control keeps your car a certain distance from the car ahead of you. You can choose that distance. It's measured in little gray bars on the little gauge cluster screen. It's called a TFT screen. So you can choose how far you want to be from the car ahead of you. I never used it. I always wanted to try it. So I was like, all right, let's, I've used it in slow driving situations, never used it on a highway. So I was like, oh, I really want to try it on the highway. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get this, and we rented the car. So training was over in Huntington Beach. We had to take an Uber to Redondo Beach, which was like a 45-minute drive north. So we went from LAX down to Huntington Beach, and then back up to Redondo, and then down to San Diego. So the drive from Redondo to San Diego with adaptive cruise control was brilliant. The Cayenne S is an awesome car. This was a 2012, so it still had the V8, didn't have the 6-cylinder turbo. So this car was very powerful, sounded great. It had the 14-way seats, so it had thigh extension. It had heated seats as well as ventilated seats. It had a heated steering wheel. It had the old navigation. It had the panoramic roof. Panoramic roofs used to creak. This one did not creak. It had like 97,000 miles on it, if I'm not mistaken. It had a lot of miles. We drove it. It was great on fuel. The adaptive cruise control was awesome. You can choose how far you want to be from the car ahead of you. And that was a very, very cool thing to be a part of. So the drive down was nice. there was traffic, but the adaptive cruise control, I didn't even need to put my foot on the brake. It would just, I set it for 45 miles an hour. It would come to a stop. The second the car ahead of me would move forward. The idea is the adaptive cruise control tries to get you to the speed that you've chosen. So if there's not enough space for you to get up to 45 miles an hour, it'll go as much as it can, and then it'll keep braking so you maintain that distance. So that was really cool. Space was fantastic. Comfort was, it's a Porsche, so it had the 14-way seats, which gives you the thigh extension, but it also had air suspension, which with Porsche is more about performance more so than comfort, but it does give you comfort. And it had something called PASM, Porsche Active Suspension Management. That allows you to choose the stiffness of the shock. So normal mode is sporty. One stiff is it reduces the roll of a car. So if you're going around a corner too fast, like a long sweeper on the highway, instead of the car leaning, it would actually level it out. So it's actually a very, very cool feature. We used that. Car was comfortable. It was clean. It was a great car to drive on a long distance. And San Diego was beautiful. So we spent a nice December in San Diego with the Cayenne, and I have no beefs with the Cayenne. I think that V8 is phenomenal. Air suspension, adjustable suspension, adaptive cruise control for a car that was 4 years old and almost 98,000 miles on it. No hiccups. It really shows about their build quality and how long-lasting these cars are. But this was a very nice car to have in December. But the next car I was really excited for, because the trip that we took was really what made me fall in love with California, this upcoming one. But stay tuned for it. Subscribe, like, anything, guys. Your patronage and your views is what keeps us going. So please subscribe and like. Thank you so much.